All right, let's dive right into this Adobe 2024 Digital Trends Report you sent over. Clearly, you're as excited as I am about what's coming next in the digital world, especially when we're talking about more personalized customer experiences. Honestly, who doesn't want that, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, everyone in their chatbot is promising hyper-personalization these days, but is it actually living up to the hype? This report makes you wonder.
Yeah, it really highlights this gap between what businesses think they're nailing when it comes to customer experience and what people are actually feeling out there.
It's a reality check for sure.
Okay.
One stat from their consumer survey really jumped out at me. Only 26% of people said their digital experiences were excellent.
Wow.
And honestly, considering how much we basically live online now, that number is kind of shocking, don't you think? What are we missing here?
It seems like one of the big disconnects is this very basic misunderstanding of what personalization actually means. You can't just stick someone's name at the top of an email and call it a day, you know?
Oh, tell me about it. Like those personalized product recommendations that are totally off base.
Exactly.
It's like, come on, you have all this data. Surely you could do better than this.
The report really digs into how crucial it is to understand individual preferences and behaviors. It's about creating these consistent, seamless experiences across every single touch point a customer has with a brand.
Oh, so it's not just about throwing a bunch of personalized interactions at people. It's about making sure it all connects into a cohesive journey.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
Exactly. And there was this really interesting example in the report about how it's not just what you personalize, but also how you deliver that information. Like when it comes to sales, most customers actually said they'd rather get a well-timed email than a text message.
Really? Huh. You'd think a text would feel more, I don't know, personal.
Right. But it gets to this idea of context, right? It's about being where people are, not overwhelming them just because you have their number.
Data, data, data. It's a foundation of everything.
It really is. And this report is stressing the need for what they call unified data. It's not just about collecting a ton of it, everyone's doing that already, but actually connecting the dots, breaking down those silos and getting the full 360-degree view of each customer.
That's where I think a lot of companies kind of miss the mark. They're good at gathering data, but maybe not as good at actually making it work for the customer, right?
It's like they're missing the forest for the trees.
The report used chatbots as an example of this, actually. Yeah, chatbots, everyone's got them, but it seems like half the time they're more frustrating than helpful.
It's true. The report actually found that almost half of consumers have had negative experiences with chatbots.
It's like they're stuck in the past, just spitting out canned responses instead of really solving problems.
And I think a lot of that comes down to this lack of unified data we were just talking about. Without that complete view of the customer, chatbots are basically flying blind.
They just can't give you that personalized help you're looking for.
Right, and that's the difference between feeling like a valued customer and feeling like, well, it's just another number. One thing I found really interesting was how the report connected the dots between data practices and actual market success.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
They highlighted these market leaders, companies that are really at the top of their game. And guess what? They're the ones who are really excelling when it comes to data. They're not just sitting on it, they're actively using it to create these seamless, personalized experiences we keep coming back to.
So it's not just some abstract concept. Good data practices actually translate to better results.
Exactly. They give this great example of a fashion retailer that used unified data to personalize their customers' online shopping, and it led to a huge increase in sales. It's proof that this stuff really matters.
Yeah, it's not just about being trendy. It's about using data to actually make things better for the customer and for the business. Okay, so we've talked personalization, we've talked data, now let's bring in the big one, AI. It's everywhere you look these days, but is it really living up to all the hype when it comes to customer experience? What's the report's take on that?
Well, it's interesting. They found that executives are definitely excited about the potential of AI, but it seems like a lot of companies are still in the very early stages.
So lots of buzz, but maybe not as much action.
Pretty much. A lot of companies are still trying to figure out how to use AI effectively.
Hmm.
They haven't necessarily set clear goals or KPIs.
So they're experimenting, but not quite strategically implementing. Okay, so they're dipping their toes in, but maybe not diving in headfirst just yet. What are some of the ways companies are actually using AI to improve the customer experience right now?
Content creation is a big one.
Right, AI writing everything these days.
Yeah, it's definitely having a moment, but Is it really enough to just churn out more content, even if it is personalized? Is that where the true value lies?
Good question. I mean, I love a good AI-generated poem as much as the next person, but
Exactly. And the report kind of hints at this too, that content creation is a good place to start. But the really exciting potential is using AI to personalize that entire customer journey from start to finish.
okay, so instead of just like personalizing a single interaction, you're talking about AI that understands the entire customer experience and can tailor everything based on that.
That's the idea. AI can see patterns in data that we might miss, so it could be used to create these incredibly nuanced, personalized experiences that were never possible before. Product recommendations, customer service, you name it.
It's like having your own personal AI assistant who knows exactly what you need before you even do. But, and I feel like I know where you're going with this, it all comes back to data, right?
100%. The report really drives this point home. AI is only as good as the data you feed it. If you want AI to create amazing customer experiences, you need that unified view of your customer.
Otherwise, it's just a guessing game.
Exactly. And nobody wants to play that game.
So to everyone listening, it's clear you're the kind of people who like to stay ahead of the curve. And while this report is looking at 2024, there's a lot here you can use right now.
Absolutely. Whether you're running a business or just trying to make sense of your own digital life, and let's be real, that's all of us. The takeaways are really important. Focus on responsible data practices. Make sure you really understand your audience and what they care about, and don't just use AI for the sake of it. Be strategic.
Love that. You know, this whole conversation actually sparked an interesting thought for me. This report is all about businesses, but what if we thought about these principles in our own lives?
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
I mean, what if we used data and AI to personalize our own experiences, streamline how we do things, make better decisions? We have all these incredible tools at our fingertips. It's just about using them to make our lives better, not more overwhelming.
It's about taking control of our digital lives instead of the other way around.
Exactly. Well, on that note, I think we've done our deep dive for the day. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, stay curious.